Hello, and a lovely, warm Southern African welcome to Honest Conversations with Esther. 2 weeks ago, we started on the path of low self esteem. So, if you haven't watched the previous episode, I'd encourage you to go back to it. It's just about 1 minute long, then you can come back and finish this episode. So, instead of having just one episode, I've decided to turn this into a series so as to give the subject of low self esteem the amount of depth that it requires. So today's episode is going to be on the symptoms of low self esteem. These symptoms are based on my own personal experiences with having low self esteem, research that I've done on the subject, and some of the comments and responses I received via WhatsApp and Instagram. You may ask, why low self esteem? This is because low self esteem is about more than just liking yourself. It's about your perceived value as a human being, how much you allow others to treat you, and what you tolerate. It's also about your worldview and the kind of opportunities and rewards you think you're deserving of. I recently took an interest in circus elephants and I read a story about them. So, this story was about how circus elephants are trained to be submissive. An elephant is a huge animal. So one would wonder how someone is able to bring such a giant into submission. It's simple: self belief and self esteem. So, whilst they're still young, these circus elephants are tied to a strong pole. So, no matter how much they fight or try to get away, these elephants are unable to get away. And obviously, over time, as expected, these elephants will get bigger. But still, they believe that there's that same small elephant that was unable to get away. This is the same way that low self esteem has limited a lot of us and turned us into circus elephants. I used to be a circus elephant. See, over time, I allowed myself to develop limiting negative self beliefs. I had a lot of negative self talk. I allowed people to mistreat me and I tolerated it for a long time. And I didn't realize this on a conscious level, but subconsciously, I may have believed that I was not deserving of better. So I downplayed how badly they may have treated me. But I decided I no longer wanted to be a circus elephant. Instead, I believe that I'm deserving of the kind of life that God has intended for me to believe that I should live. And that is a life of abundance. That is a life of limitless possibilities. And this is strongly tied to self esteem and how you think about yourself. So let's get into some of these signs of low self esteem. Number one, negative self talk and the kind of things you think about yourself. Scripture says in Proverbs that as a man thinketh, so is he. So, negative self talk is a reflection of what you think about yourself. And sometimes we say horrible things about ourselves in jokes or in passing. Other cases, it may be more clearly and apparent when you're about to pursue an opportunity. You tell yourself you're not good enough. You look in the mirror and you believe that you're looking at an ugly woman. This is a sign of low self esteem. A negative self talk is also tied to negative comparison. I, as Esther, believe that because so and so is good at something, then in comparison, I must be terrible at it. The other sign is people pleasing. This is a situation where you go out of your way to keep people in your life because you don't believe that they like you as a person just the way that you are. Now, I'm a Christian and I believe in being kind to people, but people pleasing goes to the extent of doing things that make you uncomfortable, things that are hurtful towards you, and even continuing to push and pursue people who've shown you that they simply do not want to be in your life, who disrespect you bluntly and to your face, but you are doing everything to bring them over to your side. I think this could be actually a topic to discuss all by itself. Number three, anyway, in case you're wondering what's in this cup, it's cinnamon, ginger, and honey. Half a teaspoon of ginger, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, and honey to your liking. It's really good. You should probably try it. Where was I? Number three, how much you tolerate. I believe I've covered this a little bit in my introduction, but how much disrespect you tolerate from other people is a reflection of what you believe that you are deserving of. That is, it is tied to your self esteem. Because if you believe that you're a respectable person of value, you won't allow others to treat you with disrespect. But if you have low self esteem, you really downplay how much these people are mistreating you, or you attribute it to your own flaws and sort of think that perhaps because of the way that I am, people are treating me this way. This is a sign of low self esteem. Number four is poor boundaries. Poor boundaries can be simply put as saying yes when what you really mean to say is no. Finally, we talk about trouble accepting compliments. This, in some cultures, in my own culture as well, is where we think that it's humble to negate when somebody says something nice about you. For example, somebody may say, Esther speaks well, or perhaps that, Esther, that's a really beautiful dress. So the correct response in this case is to simply smile and say thank you. But with low self esteem, we try to negate when somebody has something nice to say about us. For example, I may say that, you mean this old thing? It costs only 50 kwacha. That's a sign of low self esteem. And it goes on to even deeper things, perhaps a presentation at work. You worked hard to do all the numbers, they tie up. You worked hard to bring in the sales this quarter. But when somebody says that was a great presentation, you talk about all the ways that you went wrong and things that you could have done differently. That is a sign of low self esteem. So let me know in the comment section down below if perhaps at some point in your life you've had low self esteem and if you can relate to some of these signs and symptoms. And if you're still too shy to come up front and comment, you can leave me a thumbs up to let others know that they're not alone in this case, struggling with low self-esteem. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode of Honest Conversations with Esther. Thank you for watching.